So you fly and you go up to 14,000 feet and somebody opens the door. And in that moment, you realize you've never been in a freaking airplane with the door open. Terror, 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 terror.
Ask my best trait, I say fashion, cause everything's a statement, and I be killing fabrics. Every fit I create is great, it screams bad chicken. At this rate, the hate, it seems average and misplaced.
And you fall out of the airplane, and in 1 second, you realize that it's the most blissful experience of your life. You're flying.
You better talk to me nicely. Next to blow, little bitch, I might be. Can't forget all the days they overpriced me. So now that we up, don't get advice, me no. Talk to me nicely. I know that they heated, we getting icy. Can't forget all the moments they overpriced me. So now that we up, don't get advice, me no. On top, flipping the bird, they going sick. But I'ma make them eat every word, so don't trip. Yeah. Even with all the bridges they burn, I won't switch. Even with all this water we drippin', we won't slip. Yeah. Blast bear fun in the building, he don't miss. But we call it success when your circle is all rich. If you a big stepper, don't trip over small shit. I call it how I see it, but never go call it quits. I won't, yeah, I won't. But what do I owe the niggas? I don't even know. I think that we finally made it, it gotta be so. The way they be pocket watching, it gotta be bro. Not even my partner's partner, but calling me bro. To get it straight out the bottom, you gotta be bold.
Feeling great. I hope this is one of my goals before I turn 25, so that was good. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So, I may do it again.
Hey, it was a pleasure to fly with you.
Thank you for getting me back down.
Yeah, safe, and you are awesome, alright?
Thank you.
See you next time.
See ya.
Bye bye.
So now that we up, don't get advice, you know.
playing up to the stepping out, there's actually no reason to be scared. And then in that moment, all of a sudden, where you should be terrified is the most blissful experience of your life. And God placed the best things in life on the other side of fear.
Hey guys, so it's been about 48 hours since I jumped out of a plane. I still can't believe I went skydiving, but I wanted to film this part of the video just to give you guys what my experience was like and things you should know before going skydiving if you're someone who's interested in jumping out of a plane. I just want to give you guys a little rundown about why I wanted to do this. I was always that person who would be like, I'm never going skydiving. Like, these people are crazy. How can they jump out of a plane? And some of you watching me are probably saying the same exact thing. Like, how could you just jump out of a plane and risk your life like that? But I had a change of heart somewhere like a couple weeks before my 25th birthday. I don't know, it just got put on my bucket list and I wanted to do that. But for any of you who have been watching my channel, you know my birthday is in November, so around that time it's a little bit cold. So the only time I would really want to do it is in the summertime. That being said, I chose to skydive at the Long Island Skydiving Center in New York. The night before my experience, they basically send you an email reminding you of your reservation, and they send you a video to watch and a waiver to fill out. I watched the video. It was just kind of like what to expect, and then the waiver is basically you signing off all of your legal rights to basically sue them if something goes wrong. And basically every skydiving center does this. You basically have to give up your legal rights as you accept that you're taking the risk by jumping out of a plane. Yeah. So one thing about the waiver that kind of made me nervous, there was one section in there that basically said technically skydiving would be considered suicide if anything was supposed to happen. And at that point I really kind of reconsidered if I wanted to do this, because I was not signing up for that. Signing up for suicide? Like, come on. I don't know, something in me just continued to fill out the waiver, and I ended up going the next day. And once I got there, they kind of just asked for your ID. They asked for the card that you paid for the reservation on if you paid for it online. And then I had to fill out a couple more waiver forms and do a video. They recorded me just, you know, again, I, Shanice, and then basically I accept all the risks that come with skydiving. After this, they sent me to the back and they put the little contraption on that you need to skydive. And one thing to note is that once they put that on, it's not going to be as tight until you get into the plane, and then the instructor straps himself to you and then pulls it tighter. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you're interested in skydiving. Another thing to note is that if you are going skydiving, once you get on the plane, if you are first on the plane, that means you're last to go skydiving. And if you're last on the plane, that means you're first to jump out of the plane. I was last to get on the plane, so I ended up being the first one to jump out of the plane. Although I think this was best because there were two other people that made a reservation at the same time I did, so we all went up together. But I feel like if I seen those two people jump out before me, I may have reconsidered the whole thing. Once we were going up in the plane, we went up about 10,000 feet, and I asked my instructor, I was like, oh, how long you been doing this? And he tried to play himself and be like,
would you believe me if I told you it was my first day?
Like, no, stop playing with me. But he actually had been doing it for 6 years, and I don't know, I just think that's a little insane for you to be just jumping out of planes almost every day for 6 years. But brave, but a little insane. But that was great that he did that, because then I trusted his experience in getting me down to the ground safely. Once you get up to about 10,000 feet, at this point, you and the instructor are already connected, and they open the door. And like Will Smith said, at this point, you realize you've never been on an airplane with the door open. It's kind of just like an adrenaline rush that kind of runs through you, and you're just like, what the hell did I sign myself up for? So they open the door, and then there's this light on the side of the plane. They basically have to wait for that to turn green, and then you jump out. But once that light turned green, my instructor was just like, ready? He didn't even count. I've seen experiences where people count to 3. He didn't even count. He was like, ready? Let's go. And let's go. He just jumped. Another thing to note is I feel like a lot of people who are thinking about skydiving think you have that stomach feeling that you have when you ride amusement parks all the way down, but you don't feel that. You only feel that like in the first couple seconds once you first jump out of the plane, but after that you don't feel that at all. So once you jump out of the plane, it's considered a free fall. This is when you're just falling out of the plane. And then about 30 seconds after, they deploy the parachute, and then it's just kind of slow sailing until you have to stick the landing on the ground. As you can see, I looked crazy in that video, and it's because once you're falling out, it's just the air is just rushing into your face. It kind of like makes your face like just look all types of crazy. So that's one thing to know, and you kind of just feel that gushing air until you kind of start to land. You do have on goggles, so if you are someone who wears glasses, you can wear your glasses under your goggles. Guys, my battery died, but essentially once they deploy the parachute, it's kind of just like free sailing until you get down. He asked me did I want to navigate the parachute, and honestly after just reading all those waivers, I was just like, no, you got it. I just didn't want to take any risk, and it was just kind of cool. It was kind of like being a drone and seeing everything from like top all the way down. Once we landed, I was just so excited. Once you complete skydiving, there is a literal high that you feel, like a high of like, wow, I just completed this. Wow, I just completed something that, you know, I had on my bucket list, or something that you really wanted to do for a long time. And once you get down, it's really not that bad, because immediately once I jumped out of the plane, it was a little nerve-wracking. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But then you're like, wait, it's really not that bad. So if you are someone who is thinking about skydiving, I definitely would recommend it. Just make sure that you really want to do it, because that's the only way you're really going to enjoy it. And I will also say, watch the Will Smith skydiving speech. It's one of my favorite like speeches from him. It kind of like got me pumped up to also want to do skydiving on my own. I'm really proud of myself that I actually completed this, and I honestly, as insane as it sounds, I actually am thinking about going again. But I don't think I want to go in New York. I think I want to go somewhere else. New York skydiving is really expensive, so if you do have a chance to like travel and skydive in that place, I would suggest that. Skydiving in New York is very expensive, especially for the fact that if you also want videos or pictures, it's a whole nother charge as well, because you can't take your phone or camera up in the air. And one thing I would say about Long Island Skydiving Center, if you do choose to skydive there, only get the video. Don't get the video and pictures, because the pictures are kind of like screenshots from the video. And other people's skydiving experiences, I feel like they had actual photos. Like my best friend went skydiving before, and his pictures came out so nice. Like someone was on the ground taking pictures with an actual camera. But they didn't do that. They used a GoPro to record the video, and then the pictures are kind of like stills from the video. So that's kind of like my only thing. I wish I just paid for the video itself. But yeah, overall, really glad that I got to go skydive. I had this experience. My instructor was great. Glad that he landed me down safely. If you are someone who's thinking about skydiving and there are things that I didn't touch in the video that you want to know about, make sure to place your questions down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And until next time, bye guys.